Good evening. Welcome to the Fayette Civic Center. This is a great event. We're excited tonight. Just look at this, Alexander. It's amazing. Yes. Tupelo Film Festival. I mean, they don't have anything on Fayette, Alabama. On behalf of the city of Fayette and the Fayette Civic Center and the Fayette Art Board and Ann Ullman, who is the director, we are delighted that you're here tonight. I don't want to leave Glenda Robertson out, who is the director of the Civic Center, and we're excited about this night. And we have the Honorable Senator Roger Bedford here tonight that would like to share something with Alexandra, and we're going to turn the podium over to the senator. His wife Maudie is sick and he needs to get back to Russellville, Alabama, and so we're going to let him share with everyone here to begin with. Senator, we really appreciate you being here tonight for this very special occasion. So Senator Bedford, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. Such a privilege and a pleasure to be here tonight with one of our own, so special. I had a chance to visit with her in Guthrie Smith's exhibit earlier, and I'm just even more impressed with her the more I get to know her. And I told her that we could not let this special occasion go unrecognized by the Alabama Senate. And so we passed unanimously this resolution, and I'd like to read it to y'all and then present it to her on behalf of the state of Alabama, recognizing Alexandra Branyan and her documentary film featuring the Fayette Art Museum. Whereas highest commendation is hereby conveyed to Alexandra Branyan in recognition of the premiere for documentary film featuring the Fayette Art Museum, and whereas entitled Treasures from the Rubble, the documentary premiered at the 9th Annual Tupelo Film Festival, followed by an international debut in June 2012 at the 10th Anniversary Female Eye Film Festival in Toronto, Canada. And whereas the documentary is a 12-year labor of love produced by Alexandra Branyan, who is a writer, director, and voice-over artist for the film, a widely acclaimed actress, musician, and journalist. She is a native of Fayette and a graduate of the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, which honored her in 2000 with a Distinguished Career Award from the Society of Fine Arts. And whereas the Fayette Art Museum originated with newspaperman Jack Black, primarily as a showcase for Jimmy Lee Sutton, who went to heaven in '07, a folk artist whose outsider creations gained appreciation in the Smithsonian Institute, the African Folk Art Museum in New York City, and the High Museum of Art in Atlanta, among others. And whereas, in addition, the work of the late Lois Wilson, who was both a folk artist and a patron of other artists, is an integral part of the Fayette Art Museum, which includes more than 2,700 works of art that she donated in her generous spirit, pervades the documentary film has been so expertly crafted by Alexandra Branyan to reflect honor upon the city of Fayette and the gifted artists. Now therefore be it resolved by the Alabama Senate of the Legislature of Alabama that Alexandra Branyan is most highly commended, and this resolution is offered with highest congratulations to her on the premiere of her documentary film about the Fayette Art Museum, Treasures from the Rubble, and with it, the best wishes on all future endeavors. We're proud of you.
Senator Bedford, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Now it's my turn. There are a lot of people that are here tonight, and first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for being here and being a part of this special occasion for our town, because it's for all of us. And when you see the documentary, I'm telling you, you'll be surprised and you'll be overwhelmed, because I was brought to tears when I saw it in Tupelo, because it made me feel like I was sitting there with them again. So just have that in mind when you watch that tonight, and I'm really proud of it. So thank you all for being here and supporting us. There are a few people that I would like to recognize on behalf of the Art Museum and Alexandra. Thank you for coming tonight. So I'll begin that, and it is a little lengthy, but we want to recognize everyone and for their help here tonight. First of all, I want to thank Ms. Glenda Robertson, with the Civic Center Director. This could not have happened without her and her being back here and helping us get all this together. Thank you, Glenda. Next, I would like to recognize Miss Alexandra's family. Her brother Macon and his wife Susan are here with us tonight. Her nephew Macon and his daughter Kara. Her cousins Horace and Carolyn Berry. Harold and Joanne Berry. Lunda and Beth, who used to babysit me. Jim Walker and Suzanne Branyan. Jim and Angie Berry and their daughter Ann and their son Branyan. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. Also, Van and Scott Gravely, which we all know too. Thank you for being here tonight. Also, I would like to recognize Margaret and Jack Black's family, because without them, this would not be here. We would like to thank Miss Claire Black Tisdale, her husband Alan, and her son Alexander for being here tonight. Claire and Alexander are honorary members of our board and are very helpful and supportive in every decision and every aspect of the museum. Thank you for being here tonight. Also, Miss Margaret Black's sister, Martha Bowling of Brookhaven, Mississippi, has come this long journey to be with us tonight. Thank you. Then we have some other relatives of Miss Margaret and Mr. Jack's. We have Jean Alexandra, Miss Margaret's and Mr. Jack's sister-in-law. We have Margaret Weigel, Margaret and Jack's niece. Jimmy Weigel, Harrison Weigel, Dick Coffey, all cousins of Claire's. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. Now for Miss Lois Wilson's family. We have her niece, Miss Billy Wilson May, from Athens, which you'll see in the documentary. Also with her, she brought her son William Michael, her daughter Angie, her granddaughter Ann, and two cousins, Barbara Mills and Sandra Parker. Thank you for being with us tonight. Also, we didn't realize we still had relatives of Miss Lois's living, did we? We also have her cousin, Miss Sis Gartman, and Jinx Blankenship. With Miss Sis from our hometown, she brought her daughters, Miss Judy Young, Becky Cost, Tootsie Brooke, her granddaughters Anna Roberts and Ashley Brooke. Then Miss Jinx Blankenship, who was her cousin, brought her daughter Ramona Dean and her granddaughter Peggy Thompson. Then there's some other cousins of Miss Lois Wilson's that came, Miss Suzanne McGraw, Debbie Randall, Eddie Hammonds, and Shirley Hammonds. Thank you for coming and being with us tonight. And we all just saw our state senator, Roger Bedford, for being with us. Also, we have Representative Daniel Bowman and his wife. Thank you for being with us tonight. We have Mr. Jim Harrison, who is the owner of the Gallery of Tuscaloosa and also the president of the Alabama Arts Council. Thank you for being here with us tonight. We have Mr. Tom Roberts, originally from Fayette, now head of broadcasting for Crimson Tide Sports. Roll Tide. We have our own probate judge, William and Nelda Oswald, with us tonight, and their daughter, Audrey. Thank you for being here. We have our circuit judge, James Moore. Thank you for being here. And then I'm going to call out these few other groups, and you're more than welcome to stand, but they are listed on the back of your program. Thank you, Mayor Nelson, for letting us have this tonight and for being with us. Then any of our Fayette City Council, Miss Ann Hamner, the Director of Chamber of Commerce, the Fayette Civic Center Board of Directors, Art Museum Board of Directors, the Fayette Civic Center Endowment Board, and the Premier Committee of members. Thank you all for being here and helping us have this event tonight. Last, before we have Miss Alexandra introduced, I would also like to let you know that Governor and Mrs. Bentley sent their regrets that they could not attend tonight because of a scheduling conflict. They sent us a letter. And then also Dr. and Mrs. Charles Davis. They sent their regrets because he was our first president of the Board of Directors of the Art Museum, and he hated he could not make it tonight. They wanted me to tell you that. So thank you. All right. Now we'll have Mr. Alexander Black Wilson introduce Miss Alexandra. Jack Black and Margaret Black's grandson, and I've known him since he was this little. Into a fine young man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Ms. Ullman, for having me to do this. If anybody was not congratulated, please raise your hand. I'll see you at the end, and will personally congratulate you as you go out the door. Because seriously, each and every one of you do have a very vital role in making this happen, because you are here, you're filling these seats, and you're about to watch this pivotal documentary which chronicles your town here. And while I'm on that note, go ahead and take out your cellular device. This documentary was 10, almost 11 years in the making. You can last an hour without it. Mine's off, y'all witnessed it, okay. Also, we unanimously passed this introduction I'm about to give with the council that I convened outside a minute ago. Good evening once again. I am Alexander Black Wilson, and for the past 22 years, I've been very lucky to call the Fayette Art Museum part of my home. My grandfather, Jack Black, was the first director of the museum, and I frequently accompanied him while he worked around the museum, moving, hanging paintings, and framing, and doing the other works that the high office of director requires. Through him, my grandmother Margaret, and my mother, I learned about the one woman somebody wasn't paying attention. You may as well sit down. I'm going to be a minute. But through my family, I learned about the one-woman creative dynamo whose vision made tonight a reality. The first thing I ever learned about Miss Branion is that everything she has ever touched has become a smashing success. My grandmother was her teacher and appreciated her effervescent presence in the classroom and her fresh but mature writing as the editor of the school newspaper. Growing up, Alexander's vibrant sense of humor was a delight to friends and grown-ups alike. She grew up a musical prodigy in a town where music, as you know, is universally appreciated. She played first chair clarinet, piano, organ, and was with jaw-dropping musicianship. She could drive a 4-speed, although, as some people who are old enough may realize, the curves are hard. There was nothing that she couldn't do. She'd spend the night parties with her friends, some of whom were even boys, and befriended people of all ages and stages. Sparkle plenty couldn't hold a candle to Alexander Branion. And then she left home. She majored in English at the University of Alabama, and then she set sail for the University of Hawaii, where she earned a master's degree in drama and theater. In 1968, she was appointed drama consultant for the federal Title III program and created theater experiences for public school students in Florida. Those were obviously some very lucky kids. When she moved up north, she stayed. New York, Fayette, I'll give it to you on that. At the Juilliard School, she studied composition. She undoubtedly wowed her master teachers in acting, songwriting, screenwriting, and criticism. As an actress, she performed in off-Broadway through the 70s, landed roles in movies, television shows, and commercials, and was a member of the original company of the New York branch of Chicago's Second City. As an writer, author, and journalist, she shared her extensive knowledge of theater in articles for the New York Times and the Dramatists Guild Quarterly, and she critiqued American theater as the New York correspondent for Tokyo's Parco Playbill magazine. She collaborated on the definitive Novella Chinese Cuisine Cookbook and produced poetry. She lectured at the New School for Social Research. She taught playwriting. She formed her own nonprofit organization, the Branian Workshop Limited. And then there's Alexander Branian, the playwright. Her plays have been produced in New York, Chicago, Washington, and many other cities. Her play, Passed Over, won the Golden Gate Actors National Playwrights Competition. Some of her other plays, including Peking Duck, The Wristwatch, and, I didn't ask you how to pronounce his last one, Ishtar? That was good. Have received critical acclaim, and Lousy Lucy won the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers Award. In 2000, the University of Alabama Society for the Fine Arts presented Miss Branian with the Distinguished Career Award on the nomination of my grandfather. It was the first time I ever wore a tux, and at the ripe age of 10, I was starstruck to be in her presence. While she was in Tuscaloosa to receive the award, she got a spark in her eye about the Fayette Art Museum, and right then and there, she decided to do a documentary about it. Now, mind you, she had worlds of experience, but she had not actually produced a documentary to date. Nevertheless, true to her form, she undertook the project with colossal passion and extraordinary dedication. Through monumental computer and equipment failures, fires, wrecks, delays, mountains of legal and personal issues, plagues, famine, and enough assorted problems to try the patience of a young mule. Lois Wilson was, as she herself said, an Alabama cotton picker who refused to give up. And like her, Alexander Branian refused to give up on this daunting project. 10 years is a long time not to give up. And she did it, not surprisingly, beautifully. Treasures from the Rubble was accepted by the prestigious Tupelo Film Festival and nominated for Best Documentary at the Female Eye Film Festival in Toronto, Canada. The Alabama legislature has adopted a resolution recognizing Alexander Branian as Treasures from the Rubble, as the accolades were just received. She is a visionary. She was my mother's babysitter, and she has come home tonight. Alexander Branian is Fayette's own treasure. And as Jimmy Lee Sutton used to sing, she is looking better all the time. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Alexander Branian.
Well, of course, I didn't prepare anything to say, but I'll think of something. I wanted to thank all of the people that she just thanked. And I do have to say, Mayor Nelson, thank you so much for what you did for me in Tupelo. he brought Fayette and the community leaders of Fayette to Tupelo, and it was really very impressive, and I think all of you would have been proud at what happened there. We really had quite a crowd, and they were impressed with the community leaders of Fayette. It was really wonderful, and I have to thank Ann Ullman for all of the work she's done on the film, and Claire Black, who has been with me since the year 2000 on this film. Those two I really have to say something about. And Ann Hamner also was so helpful, especially about the Tupelo event. And now Glenda Robertson has been so helpful. So I do want to say, everyone here, we really appreciate the effort you took to be here. Some people have traveled from far, and we hope not to disappoint. I'll talk to you just a second about the film, because I think you might get something out of it. I think you'll be touched by the people in it, because they are the people of Fayette. And pay special attention, for instance, to the soundtrack. The reason it took so many years, it was a complicated subject, and we did have a lot of technical problems, but I'm also a stickler for detail. So I think you'll really enjoy the film even more if you pay attention to the detail. For instance, when Jack Black, who is a real person, walks across the stage, I say, you hear his footsteps. But Lois Wilson believed in spirits, and so I took that because I needed some way to get her letters into the film, and she was dead, and we had no footage of her. And so I took her idea of spiritualism and being able to talk to spirits, and she believed in spirit artists helping her. I took that concept and let a little character walk across the stage the whole time wearing a little floppy hat, and we can't see her face. She stands in for the Lois Wilson character. We call her the spirit of Lois Wilson. Well, if you pay attention, she has no footsteps. And there's a lot of detail in the film like that. I think that if you really pay attention, besides enjoying seeing Jack and Margaret, who are wonderful in the film, they're bantering, and Billy May is here tonight, who's Lois Wilson's niece. It was wonderful, the interviews that they did with me. I stood in the background, did not film me. What I would do is I would read from a letter, and then they would ad-lib whatever they felt like talking about based on what I had read. And they were wonderful in it. Notice how natural they are. I think you'll enjoy that. And at the end of the film, all the music is original, and I think you will enjoy that. I didn't want to have any music that you were familiar with, because if you hear Autumn Leaves, for instance, you have memory associated with Autumn Leaves. I wanted something totally new and different, and my friend and composer Margaret Kitchens, who I've worked with for many years, I knew she could capture memory and the feeling of memory. And I think you'll really enjoy the original music. And if you start really paying attention, you'll see that Jack has his musical theme, and the different characters have their musical themes. So I'll get off the stage here and let you just enjoy the film. And it's good to be home. Thank you.